get ready for something that will change your perspective of where and how we're going to live our lives. So to kick us off, it's my pleasure and honor to bring Rikard onto the stage. He is the president of Viveport, the world's first global Netflix for VR service. Previously, Rikard built several international businesses in video on demand, YouTube, esports, CEO of MTGX. At Google, he was global marketing director for all ads, mobile, social advertising, and he ran marketing for all of Google's products in Europe. An amazing guy, someone who I've had the joy of experiencing Zero G with. Please welcome Rikard Steiber. Hey, buddy. Over to you, pal.
So thank you, everyone. It's truly great to be here. And today we're going to talk about augmented reality superpowers. So most of you, hand up, how many here have tried augmented reality? Let's just, okay, excellent, excellent. So I believe that virtual reality and augmented reality is going to change the world for all of us. The way we work, the way we play, the way we educate our kids. And when I grew up, I wanted to have superpowers. I want to put on the cape and fly out and save the world. And I can see my kids today, they also want to have superpowers. They also want to save the world, the animals, and the climate. And for the first time ever, I actually think they can. And when I was at Google, I had the opportunity to have my first superpower moment. I tried Google Glass, and I was able to put it on, check my heart rate, check the altitude, and capture things through video, through Google Glass. And I thought my dream had come true. But actually, as it turned out, it was not my dream, because Ivan Sutherland had dreamt this 50 years before me. And he had a vision for how virtual reality would not just be a screen to access the computer, but a window into a virtual world where you could move around, you can talk, you can see, you can feel. The first augmented headset, which was called the Sword of Damocles, was weighing so much that it has to be suspended from the roof. So we have come some way the past 50 years. Today, we're all using augmented reality. If you have an iPhone or Android smartphone, augmented reality is standard today. So I think we all use maps. And of course, the augmented reality version of maps is super helpful to basically get additional information for you to get to the things that you love. At my house, me and my wife always argue about interior design. And as a good Swede, as I am, we always go to IKEA. And of course, IKEA app is great because you can basically scan your room and then pick any furniture that you're considering and see how it will fit. And you can discuss if it's going to be yellow or black. Clearly, it's going to be black. So that's something. But also, I was just buying a new car, and actually seeing a car in AR is a great experience. So even if the car doesn't really exist yet, you can still see it in very high fidelity and check out all the features. You know, most of us are doing video conferencing today. And I was sending a Christmas greeting to my kids. And of course, you have real-time face mapping, so you could look like Santa Claus or an animal or anything you like. At CES, augmented reality was showcased a lot. And one of the more interesting applications for female beauty was how you could change your hair in real time. And I think this is something that my lovely wife would appreciate, because she's changing her hair a lot, actually. My kids, I have 2 young girls, and they've been studying Mandarin for many years. And if I didn't have augmented reality who could do visual translation, I would be completely useless as a parent, because there's no way I can keep up with them anymore. So as Peter mentioned before, the real world and the digital world is blending. And I think that Pokemon Go that you all heard about was probably the first location-based AR game that captured the world's imagination. And I think it's deemed to be a success because it made over $2 billion in revenue, had over 800 million downloads. I thought it was a pretty simple game, and it's almost like, is it really AR? But I do think it is a success. Niantic, the publisher, has just raised $245 million and coming out with a new Harry Potter game. But I wanted to show you some of the experiments that they're doing today. So here you see augmented reality, you see Pikachu and his friend running around. But what you can see here is that it's not that it's just blending, they're actually going behind people, behind objects in real time. So I do think that what we're going to expect in the future is this blended reality in a completely new way. At HTC, we're primarily today focused on virtual reality, and you heard some of these things from Alvin. However, we see that there is a virtual reality continuum, where you start in the real world, move to a mixed reality, to a fully immersed world. And as you know, some of these new headsets, they have cameras that would enable you to see the real world, have this augmented reality, and go fully immersed. So it's still early days, but our developers are starting to create these experiences where you can have a very simple augmented reality game. This could be a Pokemon Go kind of game. But at any point in time, what you can do is you can open up a portal to another game where you're actually moving into virtual reality and are being completely immersed. This could, of course, be your wife calling you to go home, or your boss calling you to go back to the office and actually do some proper stuff. So we're going to blend this between the real and the virtual worlds. And AR is truly going to be a game changer because the way it affects our brain. So NeuroInsight recently did a study that looked at comparing various tasks when you had AR and when you had just the real world. So the amount of visual attention in the brain and also the surprise element is having a significant impact on your brain. The recall, or what's encoded in your memory from AR experience, is 70% higher than from the normal world. So the implications for everything from brands who wants to make an impression to education and learning is truly massive. So if you look at what's going on in schools today, kids are already using AR. They're using it to learn, to experience new things that is kind of hard to understand. So they could look at the asteroid belt, engage with it, and learn about it in completely new ways. But it's not just kids and education, it's enterprise and training. And even though Google Glass was not the biggest commercial success for consumers, it is used today in enterprise, giving additional information to employees at companies such as DHL. But if you think about what you saw on the consumer side with augmented reality, you can give those superpowers to not only to your employees, but also to your customers. So they will learn more about your company, your products, or your services. And essentially, everyone can now be an expert. So as we look forward, I think that we are now entering the next step of AR. We're going to move on from the phone into AR glasses once again. And there are a couple of different technology solutions, some of them more here and now and cost affordably, some of them a little bit more in the future and much more expensive. So you have heads-up display like Google Glass, you have the video pass-through like you saw from Vive, you have what you've probably seen HoloLens, where you have the see-through, and then of course you have retinal display, where you're basically projecting in the digital things directly into your eye. So I would say that the race is on. And it's not a question if this is going to happen anymore. It is essentially who's going to capture the market and who's going to be the winner. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to give you a quick update on what's available today. So let me ask here, let's do a show of hands. How many here would consider wearing these Nreal glasses on your free time to essentially get AR superpowers? Hand up. Wow. So this is like 78, 80%. Okay. Second question. For your business, to empower your customers, to empower your employees, next 12 months, would you consider using AR to be more efficient? Hand up. Yeah, so even more. Okay, that's excellent. So there's a future. So what is the future of AR? I think from HTC's point of view, we believe that there's going to be this virtual continuum where you move from the real world, the mixed reality world, to completely immersed world. So if you take something simple as working out, you will be using these glasses to get extra information, get motivation, gamified, social sharing. All those things will be a natural part of your everyday life. Some people would argue that AR and VR is a next computing platform. I like to think of it as the next user interface. So if you think about the early days of computer, you were typing on your keyboard, using your mouse. And of course, today, if you try to type something into Google, Google knows what you're going to type before you even start it. If you write AM, it knows it's Amazon. If you write WE, it knows it's weather. So you are so slow, so the interface is not very efficient. With a mobile phone, we introduced touch, and now we talk to our digital assistants. But what's going to happen now is, with a vast amount of information, AR and VR is going to be the next interface. We're essentially going to step into the computer, and all the data is going to be contextually relevant to us. So in order for this future to happen, there are 3 key trends that I want you to think about and be aware of. We cover them here today a little bit. The first is 5G. And the reason why it's so important is that the immersive experiences require a lot of data. And this data is going to be processed on computers that are not on your headset, because you want to remove chips and processing power from your headset to the cloud, so you can also reduce the amount of battery needed. And in order to do that, you need very low latency, so the speed that things go back and forth. The other thing with 5G is that everything is going to be connected. You have 1 trillion sensors from hundreds of billions of devices. It's going to be your cars, it's going to be your phones, your cameras, your drones. All things will be connected. So which means that there will be so much data that you can access and query that you will need AI to access it. And I think the main thing here, the centerpiece here, is actually what's happening in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Because in the early days of the Industrial Revolution, we essentially transported power. We harnessed power and could distribute it to anything, any device, any machine. So if you were hammering something, you could add electricity, and you will have a machine doing it. The new revolution, you will essentially be able to add intelligence to any machine, any device, any person, not through the electricity network, but through the internet. So this will enable us a new age where people have intellectual superpowers. And I think in this future, we need to be very careful to use this power for good. So what is the future of augmented reality? I think the future is that augmented reality will be a natural part of everything we do. I think augmented reality will probably be something we don't even talk about. Similar to that, you don't talk to your screen on your desktop. It will just be a natural part. I think augmented reality will be social experiences that bring people closer together. I think augmented reality will not have any glasses anymore. You will essentially have new technology that envision this blend between the real world and the digital world. And you'll have new kinds of services that enable people to broadcast what they are, see how they're saving the climate or the environment, to their friends. But the important thing is, augmented reality is here today. The technology is here for you to use in your company or to improve your lives. So hopefully, we can change the world together with augmented reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rikard. That's a great overview of AR, where it is right now.